Recording in progress.
Oh, I apologize. Hey, last time we talked, you said you were finish your license in about a month. And you asked me to call you 2 weeks into that, so see how you're doing. And it's 2 weeks in. How are you doing? Oh, fantastic. How do you feel about that? So you're going to take a test? Oh, you're. Well, can I share a couple of thoughts that may be advice? I'm not exactly sure how to phrase this. Couple, the school, all of their practice tests, their exit exams, they make it so much harder to get out of school than it is to actually pass that state test. So if you get out of school, you pass all their requirements, you're going to need to file on that state test. The other thing to keep in mind, they're not necessarily, the test isn't designed to see if you don't have any square meter or how to sort of make literal twirl.
How's it going? What's up? Oh, they're using it for their call tracking.
Give us that extra.
Write it down.
No specific things. Does that make sense?
You too. We're doing this class. Oh, good. You guys are learning. Yes. So far, we're gonna have to.
Oh, everybody will pop in here, I'm sure, at the very last second.
To ask you too about. We had our printed list that we were using highlighter.
Yes, it's just sitting on top of my desk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we do still have it.
Yes,
Okay, good.
yeah, no, I was like, I was stressing out about it the other day, I was like, where did I write it? And then I got it on my desk. Hey, what did the girl?
Yeah, that's awesome. I figured you had it somewhere, but I just wasn't exactly sure where.
Very cute.
Thank you.
Summertime.
Aren't you so happy to know what the winter things, right? Yes.
You got that, or you need a hand?
Flip it around.
Yeah, do that now.
You don't have like a PowerPoint or anything, right? Okay. We don't have anybody on Zoom, so that should be pretty easy. We'll keep it going just so it records, if somebody needs to record it. Can you just turn it around?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Hey.
Yes.
Justin, do you know Carrie?
Carrie?
Yeah, I'm Ben Mail Girl.
K or a C?
C-A-R-I.
Sorry, you said what?
Ben Mail Girl, and you're Ashley,
Yeah.
right? Nice to meet you
I
finally.
don't know, Ben now, sorry.
Oh, yeah, it's an old home inspection place, I've seen.
Oh,
you
that's
before
right,
then.
that's right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking like fingernails, I was like, what?
Oh, no. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah. I was like,
You're not with Ben now anymore?
I'm not,
What
no.
are you doing? You doing real estate?
I am helping Jen Fleming out, potentially maybe getting into real estate.
Yeah, she's doing all sorts of things, property management,
Oh, really?
yeah, personal assistant, real estate assistant, all
Great.
kinds of
Mike?
wonderful things. I feel very lucky.
I'm super.
She's wonderful. Hi, how's it going? Good, good. A bit of a morning, but I'm trying to be here now.
I can tell you about my night, it might make you feel better. So we bought a house like a couple months ago, and I've been remodeling, and we were like one step away from having the basement done, which was get the fridge fixed and reinstalled.
Yeah,
We were in that yesterday, and it fell over, and it ripped out all the other cabinets with it.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
It ripped out the water line, I can't figure out where the water line like connects up there, connects to the bridge.
Wow. Yeah. Well, inconvenience and situations with a contest, you would.
Yeah, for sure. We were about to like seriously have a little pizza party and celebrate.
Aw.
With projects.
Wow.
No, it just started all over.
Wow, how did it happen?
So it's a Viking, which you have to like level the feet and put 2 screws in to make sure it's secured. And we had unsecured it to uninstall it to fix the water line issue. And the repairman maybe didn't realize that, like somebody else had done that. And it was just a miscommunication, like he had told his company, but like he, I don't know, or maybe he knew, but didn't understand that it was unstable.
Yeah,
It
wow.
wasn't super unstable, but he must have like pressed on it.
Oh my gosh, and it ripped out a bunch of upper cabinets.
Yes.
Wow.
It's unfortunate,
Justin's never had anything like
Never.
that happen.
never had any problems
Years.
whatsoever.
I've become pretty good at various trades the past month.
Yeah, the joys.
Now I'm about to be a cabinet
Better remodels.
All right, should we get going?
Let's do it.
So what's our subject?
You tell me.
No, what's our subject?
I'm getting rich.
It was,
Do you really need to find it?
yeah, I'm gonna ask you multiple times, so please have it up.
I'm in charge of Zoom.
Our subject is cash down versus forced appreciation of buy rentals. Is that right? Is that what you guys wanna talk about, or you wanna talk about something different?
Well, let's start there.
Okay, well, we can go a long time on that. So first off, why you're here is, this is kind of a pyramid. So number one, why do you think is at the base?
Yeah.
Hi, what was your name?
My name's Joe May. Hey, you have a house?
What is it?
Jen May.
Jared Matt? Nice to meet you, I'm Justin.
Okay, cool.
So number one is think. Here's the thing, if you don't think, you cannot buy. If you don't buy, you cannot own, and if you own, you cannot receive. Pretty basic stuff, right? So what we're doing today is we're learning to think. Right? We all want to receive, but we've got to think first. We don't think, we don't create a strong pyramid, a strong base, we will never get up to receive. If we don't buy, you can't buy without thinking first, you can't own without buying, and you can't receive until you own. Does this make sense? Now, how steep you go up this triangle is based on your criteria, it's based on your terms, and maybe it's even based on your network. Does this make sense? This is kind of a model to create your millionaire investments for strategies. Is this a new concept, anybody?
To think.
Well, do you see what I mean though? Like you've got to really think. Lady,
Yes.
thanks for coming, friends. So, this is a real model we're gonna kind of just consider. Okay, this is like a millionaire real estate agent book model, but it is 100% true. Anybody want to give me a pushback on that? Good. Very solid. Okay, so we're talking today forced appreciation versus cash to buy rentals or whatever, right? Okay, so what is one of your biggest things that is the hardest to come by? Is it cash, or is it deals, or is it opportunity? What is it?
Conventional finance.
So financing is hard thing for you.
Yeah.
Okay, why? Because you don't have as much cash as you need to put down?
Yes, and I already own several properties that are conventionally financed, and so my lenders, so DTI is a little tougher, and I'm 1099 and a landlady,
Okay,
so I don't show a ton of income.
make more money,
Okay.
right?
Right?
Make more money, right? If you make more money, then you qualify for more. I know that seems super easy, but
Right,
like,
and you pay more taxes, but
hey, you know what? I used to get really ticked off every quarter or tax time stuff, writing a big check, and now it's like, I've just shifted my mindset. I'm happy to do it because that means I'm winning. I'm playing the game of life and I'm winning. So I would encourage you to think differently. Think differently. So, anybody familiar with Tony Robbins?
never heard of them.
So I paid for his Unleash the Power Within. So on June 3rd and 4th, it's a Thursday, Friday. If you guys want to come, you can be my guest in the conference room. I've got it booked all day. It's a 4-day event. I just cannot commit to Saturday, Sunday for you. But if you guys want to come Friday, Thursday and Friday, you're welcome to come. You just got to bring a little bit of money for some food, because it's going to be all damn day. And I think it starts at like, I'm not for sure, it's either 5 or 6 in the morning.
And you're gonna host it here?
Yes, I will host it here, it'll be on the TV. So that's your gift, if you guys
Wow.
choose to take advantage of it. If you choose to develop your mind, if you choose to take advantage of shifting your mindset. Okay, because a lot of this is more mindset than anything. You agree or disagree? And this is an open dialogue conversation. So I can sit up here and dictate stuff, but let's get what you guys want to get out of this. Okay, make sense? Okay, so cash is a commodity that we all have, right? And I'm assuming everybody wants more of it?
Yeah.
I know I do, right? Because what does cash do? It allows me to be able to buy and then own and then receive, right? Receives the top of the tip of the triangle. So here, how do we get more cash? Because when I got going in 2004 and I bought my first property, dude, I didn't have jack shit. I mean, honestly, like I probably had 5 or 6 grand. It was nothing, right? And I worked from 8 o'clock at night till 2 a.m. rehabbing the property myself because I didn't have money, right? I was making good money, started to make money right out of college. And then as soon as I got it done and I was able to get a HELOC, I got $18,000. That doesn't seem like a lot of money. That was a lot of money to me. And I parlayed that into like 3 or 4 different rentals. So it's different today, right? Financing is different, but money still matters. So I talked to the kid that cuts my lawns, 18 years old, one year out of high school, and he's got 40K in the bank. And I'm like, damn, it's more than I ever had when I bought my first property. You guys are all coming from a different subset, a different circle, different background. Doesn't matter, right? It doesn't take money to do deals. It takes a strong mindset. And you guys learn to think first. Okay? So what do you want to go over? Like forced appreciation?
Well, cash down versus
Okay, let's do it.
forced appreciation.
Okay, so we're talking non-owner occupied, right?
Right.
We're not talking owner occupied money, right? I'm not talking 3.5% down, I'm not talking 10%, 20%, whatever else. So you may ask, how did I think? How did I learn this? So first off, right out of college, I became a loan officer. And what did I do? I started reading underwriting guidelines. I was like, gosh, why is pricing better doing this? Why is pricing worse doing that? And so I just started, dude, I was like reading and figuring out, pricing stuff out. I was cold calling people out of the phone book, learning how to do deals. I'm not joking, right? So I learned a lot. So this was before the Burr method was even around, right? Like, not to say I pioneered it or invented it, but in my own mindset I did, right? Because it was just me and a couple buddies. I'm like, oh, let's do it this way. Oh, this works. It's buy, refinance, buy, repair, rent, refinance, repeat, something like that. You can Google it,
Okay.
okay? Bigger pockets, we talk about it.
Alan just made a video about it, go to check out his Facebook.
So here's the philosophy. Does anybody have a deal they want to talk about? Anybody buying or rental right now? Okay, I can tell you, we could go over tons of stuff. I put a duplex under contract 2 days ago. Here's my purchase price, $320K.
Well,
It needs to close on Friday. And it is a pile of crap. Okay,
perfect.
it's 2 bed, 1 bath in each unit. Right, not a super great area. This is what I think it's worth, fixed up. So what are these numbers? Let's classify them, right? So I've got a little formula I use. You can go into bigger pockets or something and get a bunch of stuff. I think it's a little noisy. I think it's just convoluted. It takes a lot of numbers and percentages, ratios, and I think it's a little too much. So I'm a little bit simpler. I just keep things very simple. So here's what I do. And this will be a little formula we use. Acquisition, repairs, cost of money, transactional costs, right? Profit and disposition. 6 key components. Everybody follow what this is? So let's start to fill in the blank here. So how much am I buying for? Okay, we'll just leave the zeros off. I'm just gonna deal in thousands, okay? What are my repairs? I'm gonna say 60K. What's my cost of money? What does that mean?
Points, like your interest that you're being charged.
Okay, so if I have to close it Friday, can I get a loan?
No.
So
Like
we're
a hard
talking
money,
forced
right?
depreciation, right? What?
Like a hard money loan, right?
Hard money loans. What does everybody know what hard money is?
Expensive.
No? Okay. Hard money is short-term financing you get very quickly. Costs you some money. So what does an average hard money lender charge? This one, which kind of
10 to 12.
Yeah, I'd say it's about, they're gonna break it up into 2 parts, origination and APR. So when they say use the term, they'll say like 2 and 12. This is 2 points, origination, and 12% annually. So I'll teach you a little trick. What is 12% annually? It's 1 point a month. So what is an average term you would hold a flip?
6 months.
I would say 6 months, great. How many points is that?
6.
6 points, and how many points origination?
8.
So it's 8 total points. Does that make sense? Following this? You can do math in your head. What's 8 times 3?
24.
24,000, right? What's 20 times 8?
160.
Right? Am I correct? This is annually. So what does it add up to be? It would require me to, it's annually, but if I'm only holding it for 6 months, that's how, what percentage of the year?
Half.
So So I can divide it by 2, what's my cost of money? Is that easy? You can pull out a calculator, but what are we trying to do here? We're trying to think. Okay? I'm pretty close here, right? You wanna do it on your calculator too, so you can see it? We can do it the long way. All your calculators. You can take 320,000, right, times 0.02, what does it give you?
64.
6,400. And then what is 320,000 times 0.12? Dude, maybe I did my math wrong. Divided by 2. It's 19,200. Gosh, I did my math wrong. Maybe. What's 19,200? Plus 6,400. I actually did it.
25.6.
I actually didn't. It's not amazing.
Math.
So, do you see what I'm saying? So what's our number here?
12,300.
12,800. So I'm just gonna call it 12.8. I'm just leave the zeros off, make it easy. What's my transactional cost gonna be?
Is it like your closing costs on your salary?
Okay, what I lump transactional costs as being realtor fees and title. But that's on a flip. If I'm gonna refinance it, what's my transactional cost gonna be? My cost to refinance, right? It's still gonna be the loan origination fee, it's still gonna be title, all that stuff, right? So what do you guys charge yourself? Transactionally, do you guys work for free? Do you pay a buyer's agent? So you're somewhere gonna be between 4 to 7%, right? Because the 3% is the buyer agent fee, right? I usually pay 3%, because I don't want people to not show my property. When I do 1%, that takes care of kind of my taxes and title, my property taxes, title fees. And then if you're gonna pay yourself, it's whatever you want to pay yourself. That's why I say it's 4 to 7%. Make sense? If it's a loan, I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be about 5 to 7K on a refinance, just what I'm seeing. Make sense? If the lender's gonna charge you more as far as origination fee and crap like that, then it's obviously gonna go up. So some relationships don't matter. Profit, how much do you wanna make? Because here's the thing, all you need to do is fill in like 5 of these and it'll give you the last one, right? So most investors say, well, I'll just take whatever's left. Is that the way we like to do it? We like to pay ourselves first. We like to be very intentional about what we're gonna make. So what's your minimum? Right? What's your minimum gonna be? I'm gonna leave this blank for a second. And then what's my disposition? This is also known as ARV. What's my ARV? 450. Okay? You guys with me? This isn't terribly hard, is it? Okay, so let's put a percentage on this. Let's just shoot it in the middle. Let's just do 6%. What's 6 times what number are we going off of?
450.
What's 6 times 45? I know 6 times 5 is 30,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be a little under 30, right? I don't know, 27 or something. What is it, Jen?
27.
6% times 27,000.
That's pretty close. Okay, so let's add it up. Let's figure out what the profit's gonna be. Just got the calculator. You guys all need to do this.
Do you factor in insurance, like costs?
I don't.
Okay.
That's gonna be really in my repair budget.
Yeah.
If I'm so tight that I'm worried I'm nickel and diming utilities, you shouldn't be doing the bill.
Yeah.
Honestly. If you can't support a $900 insurance thing, I kind of lump it.
Okay.
That's just me. Like I said, you can get very granular on it. For me, I like to just keep it simple. It's just too much. Yeah, do we keep track of that? Yeah, but if I'm look, if you're gonna do these analysis on 10 different deals this week and you're factoring utility costs, man, you have no time. Agree or disagree?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not a factor, we're just kind of going a little bit higher up on this. But dude, if insurance is gonna make or break the deal, it's too tight, you shouldn't do it. What's my number? What?
30.
Who wants to do this deal to make 30K? Only 2. Okay. Jen's got higher standards. That's totally cool.
I didn't say that.
So what are factors that go into this? Because every one of these figures can go up and down, right? This is gonna stay the same because I've got a contract on it, right? Could my repairs go up?
Yes,
Could they go down? They could, they probably won't, right?
right,
Will my costs go up? Yeah, if I take longer than 6 months, for
right,
sure.
time, yeah.
Time is not your friend. Maybe it is your friend, right? Because the market's going up at a freaking high clip. What is the chance this is gonna go up? Pretty likely. So I'm just putting an arrow, what the chances are my number's gonna go up or down. Up. Up. Down. Up. Is this good risk? Maybe, maybe not. So by the raising hands, who wants to make 30 grand?
In 6 months.
You faster. You got a faster crew, you can do repairs faster. Sometimes you can take a little bit longer, and what does the market do? It's taking care of it right now. Okay, so this is if I was gonna flip it. What happens if I decide to rent it? Okay, if we erase this, you want me to keep it here? Well, let's keep it here for a second, just so we know. Okay, so we'll just do the refinance on this side, because this math is gonna get a little bit more intense. Okay, we're talking about forced appreciation. You know what I mean when I say forced appreciation? Liz, what does it mean?
You're
Nod your head.
forcing appreciation. I know the market's appreciating, and so, and you're doing repairs also, so basically you're gonna be able to refinance and you're gonna be in a better equity position within your loan too. Better LTV.
Does anybody understand what she said? Go ahead and explain it to us. You said yes?
I thought she did a great job.
Yeah, she did.
Jumble, but I was like, makes sense in my head.
Here's what I mean forced appreciation as. In lending, it's either appraised price or purchase price, whatever's less. That make sense? Say it again. Purchase price or appraisal value, whatever's less. So I'll give you an example so you can kind of understand. I bought a fourplex last month.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Bought 2 of them actually. One of them
Why
was.
didn't you give me one?
Because I wanted them both. We had it under contract at $550 and it appraised at $555. What will the lender term 100% value?
550.
Because it's a purchase price or appraised value, whichever's less in a purchase. What about in a refi?
Whatever's higher.
It's appraised value, right? I know this will appraise at $700 all day long now, or if I wanted to resell it, right, more. Okay, so keep this in the back of your head for a second. This will make sense a little bit more. So when we're forcing appreciation, what am I doing? To me, this duplex is worth $450. An appraisal or buying this on the open market using conventional financing, I would say 320 is all you're gonna get. So who's right? I am, duh, come on, right? Because I know something maybe the market doesn't know, or I'm gonna do something and make this more palatable for the market. So I'm gonna force this appreciation by doing what? 60K worth of repairs. What's that gonna eke out? If I wanna sell it, $30,000 profit. Okay, if I'm good, I'll hold to my budget, and I'll do it at a faster time frame. And if I do it right, I'll charge more than $450. So I think I can push this maybe 40 or more. These are my conservative numbers. Does this make sense? So let's talk about how we can force this appreciation and buy a rental. Because what are the terms? It's 25% down to buy a rental, right? So if I just want to go buy this duplex on the open market at $450, is that a fair price right now? If you want to buy it at $450, what does they say? You're gonna put 25% down, right? So it's 25% of $450.
Why is it 25 instead of 20?
Well, you could probably do 20, but you pay a higher rate, which would hurt your cash flow.
Okay.
So 25% is kind of a magic figure, and if you're in Jen's problem, or my problem, the more properties you get, the more they want down. So it might actually go to 30%, right?
I want a lot of money.
Makes sense?
They're like, you have all these properties, why don't you just get some money?
Does this make sense? I don't want to go over things too quickly if you don't get it, so for sure raise your hand and ask anything, okay? So purchase on a non-owner occupied, owner occupied, right, it's that, or non-owner, plan on 25% down. We already established in the beginning, cash is our bottleneck, right, for everybody. I don't care who you are, cash is a problem, just don't have enough. So 450, what's 25% of 450?
112.
112.5. Who's got 112.5? They want to put down lights. Anybody? Nobody?
If it exists, I will find it.
What? It's duplex?
No, the HELOC, or I'll get the money. If that exists somewhere to buy, I'll find it.
Oh, okay. So you would then have a mortgage for how much, Mike?
For,
No.
450.
450 minus the
37,500.
337, yeah.
Plus you're gonna have some closing costs, right? Which could be about 2%, which is what this is, right? If you wanted to. But if you wanted to refinance it, right? Or your financing costs. We're not getting a lot of seller paid closing costs in this market, are we? You're gonna pay your own. So you gotta factor in there. So really it's gonna be about 27% out the door. Does that make sense? It's tax title licensing. Okay, so if you wanna buy this duplex with 337, great, but you need the 112 plus the 2%. So that's like, what, 118 grandish, something like that? No, probably 120, make sense?
That's a lot of cash.
Okay, so this is how we force appreciation. So we kind of got over some concepts of the hard money, right? I told you how to quickly or figure it out. You can do it in your head. Okay, so if we're gonna buy this with a hard money loan, 320. Let's see here. So we'll do the refi on this side, the forced appreciation. Repairs are gonna be the same, right? What's the cost of money gonna be?
27%.
Well, over here, we have 12,800 in the cost of money, right?
Yeah.
But it's actually gonna be less, and here's why. Normally, when we fix up a property, then we have to stage it and get photos and market it and get it under contract and then wait 30 to 45 days for it to close, right? We're actually saving time on forced appreciation. Depending on the amount of rehab, I want it done in 60 days. Does that make sense? What does that do? That drives your cost of money down too. So this is a little bit larger rehab. I probably can't get it done in 60 days. But I could have the appraiser out there maybe before cabinets are in, or when cabinets are in, right? And templating for countertops might take 2 weeks, and then finishing carpet. I could have the appraiser come back and just finish and do his value. Does that make sense? So you should save some money on the hard money. The cost. When I'm lending out money, my flips always go out longer, but if somebody's gonna refinance, I'm all over it, because a rental, we're getting on much faster. Make sense? So let's do this one at 90 days. While your calculator. We're gonna do this, right? This is the thinking phase. So if you're getting the same terms, 2% and 12% per month, 90 days is 3 months, how many points is that?
9?
How many?
You said 90 days, right?
I'm sorry to hear you.
5%?
5 points, right? Or 5% annual. So what's 5 times 320? $16,000. 16 grand. Okay, what's our transactional cost? We're not selling it now, we're not talking realtor fees, we're talking refinance costs.
Maybe 2%.
So it's what's 2% of? I haven't told you this, so, well, kind of have, right? What's the inverse of 25% down?
75%
Okay,
LTV.
that's right. So this is where the math gets a little interesting for you. So we're kind of working backwards. So what's 75% of 450? Oh, what it is?
337.
So I can plan up front. This is gonna be my max loan amount. With me? Now, I know what I'm gonna acquire it at. Right? I know what my repair budget's gonna be. Right? You with me? It's kind of hard to understand. You guys are smart. Now I know what my transactional costs are gonna be. On the refi, what are they? 9 grand, so 2 times 450. It's probably not 450, it's really by this, 2 times 337, it's like 7 grand,
6, 750.
we'll just call it 7.
Call it 7, yeah.
Is there anything I missed? But he's like, what the hell are you doing? Okay, now we're gonna have this up. Oh, no, we didn't get the cost of hard money here. Which is how much? 16? 16. Okay, so let's add 16,000 plus 7 plus 60 plus 320.
Row 3.
What's that?
403.
So 403,000 minus our 75% loan amount is how much?
66 around.
Magic question is, to apply this fourplex, do you want to put 112,500 down or $66,000 down? Why?
Because it's less cash out of pocket. That's, you can go do another flip with that for stuff.
So if you have $112,000, basically you could buy 2 duplexes
Yeah.
instead of just 1.
Can you back up on one thing that I know I missed?
Sure.
So hopefully it's a good review for everybody. You have the 2% origination and the 12% APR, and somebody's like 5 for 90 days. I didn't understand how you got that.
That's because you were like this.
I know, that's why I said, hopefully it'll be a good review for somebody else.
So 12% annual percentage rate is 1% per month.
Okay,
12 divided by 12. Don't
Okay.
believe me? Let's do the math. Seriously, because that's the way it makes sense.
and that's how much a hard money loan is.
That's
cost.
annual percentage rate. So
Okay.
12 divided by 12 is 1, so 1% per month. If it's 10, it's a different figure. It's not 1 point a month. If it's
Okay,
14, it's not.
so but that's just like the average of what you're seeing for hard money. costs.
Yeah, just 2 and 12. So if you held it for 3 months, you've got 1% per month, that's 3, and then origination is 2, so that's 5.
Okay.
Make sense? Great review. Lady,
Yeah,
you looking perplexed?
no, I got it.
This is why I think maybe my first, I don't even know, 20 deals, this is the way I did it. It's hard money loans. It's expensive, right? You gotta be good. You gotta be proficient and efficient, right? And understand. What did I tell you? I didn't have any money. So I love this method. I don't care if you want to call it forced appreciation, if you want to call it BRRRR, Doesn't matter.
I have a question.
Okay.
So if you had access to, like $100,000 on a home equity line of credit where you're only gonna pay under 2% for the first 6 months, would you pull it from that instead of doing hard money?
Well, of course.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Want to do the math on that?
Well, a home equity line of credit though messes up your DTI. Because they have to, if you have $100,000 line, even if you aren't using any of it, a traditional lender has to count that entire amount because you have access to it at any point.
Okay, so when you're doing your forced appreciation.
So-
Yeah,
so
I
the
have a
end-
problem with that.
The end of the day, you've got to begin with the end in mind. So, before I ever do this, I'm making sure my loan officer is very proficient with this. I'm saying, are you sure I can do this? And I'm going through everything. Some of the hot points, think I'm like, some of the hot points are title seasoning. I don't want to be a loan officer's guinea pig. I'm sorry, they need to have done this many, many times. So title seasoning is, we talked about terms, purchase, refinance. Okay, there's purchase, refinance, but in the refinance, there's some subcategories, right? There's cash out, there's rate of term, and there's, well, and the purchase. If you take a hit, what's the biggest risk to a lender? Is it purchase, cash out, or rate of term? By raise of hands, who says purchase is the riskiest thing a lender will do? One. Who says cash out is the riskiest thing a lender will do? What about rate of term? What's the riskiest thing? Nobody knows. Only Lady played with me. Okay, I'll rank it in order. A rate of term is the least risky. Why? Because somebody else has already lent on it. Sure, we'll take their position. Somebody else has already done it. Purchase is the next riskiest. Hey, we're gonna underwrite them and make sure they've got cash down or loan program, their underwriting's everything good. What's the biggest risk to them? Cash out. Why? Because if they give you cash and you run for Mexico and never come back, they're at risk. So how do you think the rates are gonna correspond?
Accordingly. Sure.
You're gonna pay probably, I would say a quarter to half a point higher, maybe even 3/4 of a point higher for cash out. Purchase. We'll call this a par rate, maybe this is up a quarter, or an eighth. That's just the way it is. So why, I told you at the beginning why I was reading underwriting guidelines, I tried something out, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. I started to understand. So what are we doing with this forced appreciation, with hard money loan? You're getting another lender to take them out the rate and term refinance. It is not cash out. Because cash out is a problem. But we're all pinching pennies, an eighth of an interest rate really matters, right? When we're talking cash flow, especially in inflated prices, an eighth of an interest rate freaking matters. A quarter, dude, it may be the difference between you doing a deal or not doing a deal, right? All right, Mike? What's your question? Sorry.
It was more of a statement than a question. I think it's a question too, because in talking to my lender, I've got a home equity line that I use and flips to reduce my costs. But if I was looking at acquisition, I talked to him once about keeping one as a rental. He said, basically, the only thing you can refi is what has a trust deed. So he was saying, hard money, yes. Your home equity line, no, you won't refi that. Is
And
that correct?
And that's another discussion, right? Because yes, that would be cash out. So you need to go what you do. So you need to think like a bank. You need to do the things that a bank would do. What would they do? They would always record a trust deed note, trust deed and a note on everything. So just like a hard money loan. So even if I was going to use my own home equity line of credit to lend to myself, I would record a trust deed and a note.
How do you do that?
It's super simple.
Let's take it down to county
Um,
or have title.
Well, you gotta do it properly, right? So I started to talk about title seasoning when I went off this tangent. So if your lender is not proficient, and if their sub-lender, right, the lender that takes them out, maybe they're a broker or something, if they require title season, which means they may require you to own the property for 6 months or a year. You don't want to be a loan officer's guinea pig. You want to make sure they know how to do these and they're very proficient with what you're doing. So as long as they can do that, in 60 days, you're not gonna have a problem. As long as you do your paperwork right, you're not gonna have a problem. As long as you have the right lender, you're not gonna have a problem. You've got to do it right.
Are you willing to share your letter that helps you these?
Yeah, I have a couple.
What do you use for title?
Real advantage title.
Like, duh. I mean, I don't know, was that obvious?
Yeah. I'm a smart ass. I just read stuff.
It's all good.
What else? This is a lot of stuff going on here.
It is a lot.
I'm seeing some wide eyes here. So
What about buying whole?
this is buy and hold, right?
Right, but,
So tell me, what do you want to know about buy and hold? Of course you should do it. Of course you do it. Mike, I would say, if your property's good enough to flip, if you qualify, buy and hold it. If those numbers work to flip, 100% works to hold.
how do you decide if you're gonna flip or buy?
It's a combination of how much cash do I have? Can I take on another mortgage? Can I, begin with the end in mind, right? Having somebody review your tax returns, making sure you're underwritable, loanable. Yeah. So I'm just flipping less right now because I've just been around longer, I've made better decisions, I've 1031 to different properties. I've done cash out refinances on some to generate more cash, to put down on other properties. You know what I mean? It's just time in the market. So.
So you find the right deal, do you think it's probably better when you're newer to do flips, so you can build more capital?
Yeah, some of you may have,
If you can find the right
some of you
deal.
may have a challenge because you haven't been self-employed for 2 years. And then you didn't pay yourself a W-2 wage. And you didn't, claim everything because you're writing stuff off, right? There's nothing wrong with doing that. But just understand that that hurts you too.
Well, you gotta have a crew that you can rely on to do flips.
Yeah.
Right? Without that,
You can hire contractors. Everybody starts somewhere.
right, but I mean,
Cameron and I have talked about this a lot, and he's like, you build a bench or you have a partner ready, and you are ready, and then when no comes, you're ready, right?
because your crew could make or break you.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Sure. But it's like somebody told me, they said, hey, this is just yesterday, they had a conversation with me, they said, hey, I want you to know your property manager kind of screwed up. And I was like, okay, tell me how. They're like, they told me they wouldn't have caught it had I not brought it to their attention. And I was like, great, that's awesome. They have no economic benefit to short you on something. Your job is still to manage the manager. Your job, while you may not be doing the work, your job is to manage the contractor. So when I was like project managing, coordinating the contractors, was I swinging a hammer? No, but I would show up almost every day. And there was a time when I was going to Home Depot every single day, dropping off supplies, doing this and that. Now I'm like, dude, I haven't been at Home Depot in years, right? But I have to have somebody that is managing the manager. This is not an autopilot. You gotta like monitor and follow up, babysit, right? Like you don't have to know what good construction is, but when you walk in, they've got, laminate flooring through the doorway and it's gonna be carpet. You're like, that doesn't make sense. When I shut the door, I need to see carpet only on one side, laminate on one side, right? This way, miter the bottom of the door, slide it in, look where the door is gonna be, cut it off. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I didn't think about that. I've had that conversation with contractors multiple times. So what you inspect is what you expect. What else? We out on time?
About 15 minutes.
Do you have a preference over long-term buy and hold or flips, or you're just open to both?
You wanna get rich or you wanna get wealthy?
What's the difference to you?
Well, rich is living for money now, wealth is long-term, longevity. So do you get rich flipping or do you get wealthy flipping?
Yeah, Rich.
Do you get rich holding rentals or do you get wealthy holding rentals?
Well, be wealthy.
What do you think the market's gone up this year?
Just this year?
Just this year, like just in 5
I heard a
months.
stat that it was like 1% a week or something.
It wouldn't surprise me if we've had, I don't know, 15% or more
Yeah,
just this year. And it wouldn't surprise me if we have another 10% this year, the rest of the year.
that means long.
Just a total. So if I held a rental last year, could it be worth 25% more this year?
Yeah.
I'll give you a real life example. You guys, for an example, last year in June, I was on the fence about buying this property to flip in Magna. 4-bedroom, 2-bath, beater. And I was like, all right, I'll buy it. Bought it at 200 and I bought it to flip, right? I'm very intentional in what I do. So we put about a little bit more than I thought. We ended up putting about 40 grand into it. We went through the rigmarole of this, bought it with hard money, right? I actually bought it with my cash that I recorded no need. Here's why. We put it on the market and originally I thought it was worth 285. I thought it was only gonna profit 20K. And in 60 days, we got it done pretty quick. We put it on the market, I was like, is this right? 315? I was like, maybe a stretch. I put it on at 315, I got 2 offers. They wanted like sell it, pay closing costs. I was like, I'm not doing that. Screw that. And I was like, the value went up that much. I don't even need to do the math, but I can do it all the way through. And I was like, Rachel, what can I rent this thing for? She's like, $1,800. Oh, shit. And I pulled out my calculator and did the math. Called my loan officer. Kind of did this little ski wampus. I put it my S corp, 'cause that's what I flipped in, right? Can I change it and refinance it personally? And if so, what's my rate? So I do some math. Yeah, you can do that. Let me check. Send me this. Did it. In one day I knew. So what I do, I refinanced it. Kept it as a rental. So think about it. Last August, I had it on the market at 315. What do you think it's worth today?
4.
I think it's close to 400. How much did that go up in value? That's almost 25% right there. So I would have got rich, right? I would have made like, instead of making 20, I was gonna make close to 50K profit. Now, if I decide to sell, what would I make? And I benefited by $600 a month in cash flow.
85K.
So, once again, want to get rich, or you want to get wealthy?
How do you feel about long-term rentals versus short-term rentals? Nightly rentals?
I know you like short-term rentals. I think they're a little too much work for me. I'm just not doing it. I don't know too many people that have 5 that have been doing it for 5 years or more. I have some people with onesie, twosies, maybe 3. Not a lot of people doing it long-term. Just it's a lot of work, man. You gotta pay for insurance. Or I'm sorry, all the linens, the cleaning,
yeah.
the furniture.
Setup costs.
It's a lot. It's even more capital intensive. Yeah, can you make more? Yeah, you can make more, but I like my rentals to be passive. I don't want to be too active in it.
How many Airbnbs do you have?
I have just 2 and I'm creating 3rd.
So the question is, do you love them? Are you gonna buy more?
I think they're fun. The profits are stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, the money is dumb.
Do you have somebody that helps you manage them, or you do it all?
So far, I'm doing them myself, but I think the 3rd one I'm gonna get help with, potentially.
So the question
It's fun
is,
and easy.
I have to ask you this, what's
Yeah.
your time worth?
But I think it matters what you like doing, right?
No,
To me, I think it does.
I think it does. If I like doing it, you know, it's fun and easy and I'm good at it and that shines through, I think that has value.
maybe you should manage other people's then, right?
Maybe.
But here's what I heard you say. You're like, well, I need to make more money because I'm writing off too much stuff. And so I have to ask you, if you want to buy more properties, what's your time worth? Is it managing property? Or is it doing a higher dollar amount? Maybe it's commissions. It gives you more cash that you can more quickly do this. And you can do it with the conventional route, do it once, or you can go through the rigmarole and do it twice for the same amount of cash, right? I didn't plan this, by the way. I just did the numbers and it's pretty much 2 for 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so if somebody's never used hard money, like me, where would you tell them to start? Like, just hit you up and say.
Yeah, you can call me.
Who's your hard money guy?
Yeah, you can call me. I lend some money out. I mean, I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but I lend some money out.
Okay.
There's tons of hard money lenders out there.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, a lady actually called me and she just told me the numbers on the phone and I was like holding my kid, feeding him and.
Hold on, so fast though. He was like, I'm like, okay. You're like, is
Yeah.
it a deal? Okay, sure. I believe
No,
you.
but I worked through the numbers
Yeah.
with her in my head and then I just asked her questions. And what was the takeaway?
Either sell it for more or get it for less. More profit or like.
Like,
This is kind of off track, but
oh, then you can't ask it.
I've run into this before where I have an FHA buyer, we put a property on contract that's been flipped. Lender comes back and says, oh, you can't buy this within 90 days. So I have owned this for 90 days. You can make that 120% profit. I think is what it is. Is that something that's the conventional, there's no issue?
So the
That
90
is a rule.
Yes, the 90-day flip rule, if you're going to sell and offer FHA financing on the back end. So that means you can't write a contract to purchase it until day 91. So for several years, they waived the 90-day flip rule, but it came back a couple years ago. So what's the solution? Just don't sell to FHA buyers.
No, I was like, where did you get an FHA loan accepted?
You know what I mean? Like,
This was last year.
Okay.
yeah, but if your rehab takes longer anyway. I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, we put it under contract and then at day 91, we rewrote the contract and it was like 7 days later it closed. We work with a good lender, right? Because they may not allow that. And we had done that before. But yeah, the solution is just, there's enough good buyers out there, you don't have to go FHA. And here's the problem with FHA, no offense, but they appraise it, that appraisal is tied to the property for 6 months, it's kind of pain in the butt. So it's like.
Is it 6 months?
6 months. It's tied to the case number, which is tied to the property. So even if you switch out the buyer, you're like, oh, just reappraise it, that case number's gonna sit on the property.
But if they switch to conventional.
That's right.
So, like, if you're doing your first split, right, would you suggest doing it as a loan, like as a conventional loan, or hard money first? Or whatever you.
Well, do you have time to close it conventionally?
It's hard to compete.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Unless you find something off market.
And if it's in bad condition, and then do you have the 25% down? So it's really a
Yeah.
tri-leg, right? Do you have the cash down? Do you have the credit ability to finance it? Do you have the time? And is the property in condition worthy enough that it'll pass? Most of the times, you don't have the time, the property is in terrible condition. You need to close like tomorrow, right? What else?
So willing to share who your lender is,
For what?
that you use for
Your lender.
I like Derek Smart at Intercap.
Good name.
Dude, he's super.
I talked to him, didn't I?
He's super friendly. He invests. He does this exact method. He knows it. And he's the one that did my complicated more, bought it my S corp to flip it. And then I said, I want to switch this. So here's what's funny about that deal. I could have sold it 359, 2 offers on it. When we did the appraisal, it only appraised at 297. Biggest load of shit, right? Like.
Right.
Somebody's opinion of value is different than the market by 18 grand. It didn't matter, right? It didn't matter that big of a deal, right? But still, I got in this deal and I think, I said, look, there's this much equity in it now or more. And I've got $600 a month in cash flow legitimately flowing through. It's a little bit more actually. And I think I only have 21K out of pocket. It's still. But here's a bonus. What's my cash on cash return?
$1 million.
Want to figure that out real quick? By your calculator. So it's cash on cash. Everybody's consumed with what kind of return can you make, right? I'm making $600 a month. What's $600 times 12? 7,200. Divide that by 21,000. What is it? Nobody knows.
0.34,
What does that mean?
is that like your cap rate?
The cash on cash return. I spent this much and I'm getting a 34% return on this money.
It's killer.
So you've got to revisit your money to know what you're doing. You need to analyze your rentals. You need to look at your properties to see if they actually work. I just sold one in my self-directed IRA because it wasn't kicking off that much cash, but I had a ton of equity. Now I've got a ton of cash that I can deploy in some other deals, right? So there's a fine line of leverage, right? I refinanced a ton of properties because actually we could pull some cash out, right? The riskiest of all, right? I could pull some cash out and use that money to buy other properties and still have my subject rental cash flow. Make sense?
What kind of interest rate do you pay for a cash out refi on your existing properties? Ballpark.
Well, I don't know what it is today. I know in the fall when I did like 7 or 8 of them, I got between 3 and 3 1/3.
Dang.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's pretty damn good for a non-owner occupied cash out
Yeah.
loan. It's phenomenal. That means,
Was Derek Smart your guy on that?
yes, he was.
Call that guy.
I like Derek, right? Like, sometimes their cap rates aren't like the absolute best.
They're pretty good though.
Yeah, they're,
And they have low costs.
yeah. But when you've got a lot of money on the line, when you're putting 60K, you owe somebody 320, you want to make sure you've got really good assurance that it's going to get done. Because he does this for himself and for rentals, and he's done it for me, you can trust it's going to get done. But like I always tell you, with loan officers, don't hold back anything. Give them your full picture. Don't try to hide anything, right? They can structure it correctly if you're honest with them. But when I was a loan officer, I swear, 8 out of 10 people like think you won't figure something out. And you're like, dude, you guys have borrowers this way, right?
Yes.
They're like, dude, just tell them everything. Don't
They're
go
gonna
buy
find that bankruptcy from 6 years ago. I
Yeah, don't
promise.
go buy a
They're gonna find that
fridge and
charge
a
off and I
car
collection.
and they're gonna figure it out, dude. Just be upfront.
I'm not totally following the reasoning of why you do cash out. What, just have cash to go buy the property, what are we doing? Cash out refund.
So, I got, took 2 properties and I took, let's see, what was it? I think I got 200, can I erase this? You guys good with this? You guys need to take a picture? Probably won't make any sense to anyway.
What kind of rates did you start out with, before you did the refi?
Oh, man.
Do you know?
One of these properties, I acquired it in like 05 or 06, like 7%.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm like, these rates are
Whoa.
absolutely bonkers. So question is, why would I refinance? So there was a time when I had a different way of thinking, right? My thinking evolves, right? Where I'd pay a little extra towards the mortgage, maybe like $100 or $200 extra, pay it down quicker. It's so dumb of me. Because I'm good with money, right? But me paying extra towards the mortgage means I can't get more than 3 or 3 1/3% return on that money, right? What did I just tell you? I can get 34% on my money. So why would I ever pay down a mortgage fast? So I had one mortgage at a 15-year, I was like, well, let me just keep it clear here. So I had 2 mortgages, I got $270K cash out, and they still, I didn't want to sell them, right? Cash out till you die, right? Cash out, refi till you die. So I got $270K. Right, I told you one of the 4plexes I bought for $550K was 25% of 550. $130 something. On calculator.
I'm doing it.
137.
137. So what did I do? I used literally bank money to acquire a 4plex that is really worth $700K. My mortgage that just got my first payment letter is $2,300, and I'm just really undermanaged. I'm already renting it at $3,200, and I'm gonna have rental increases in the neighborhood of $900 to $1,100 for the next couple months. So what am I doing? I used the bank's money to acquire it, there's no money out of my pocket. And I got cash flow of currently today 900, but it's gonna be closer to 2,000, right? A month. So that's, if it's 2,000, it's 24,000 a year. Divided by 0, it's an infinite return, right? Does that make sense? What did it cost me in the cash flow of my other rentals? I don't know, a couple $100 a month. Cares it's still cash flow, they pay for themselves. So I just use this to buy something else. It's not only gonna appreciate probably 25% this year, and I'm cash flow positive. Does that make sense?
So you're saying your mortgage payment went up a couple $100 because of the refi?
Because instead of me owing 100K on one, now I owe whatever.
Yeah.
This didn't come out of nowhere, right? Now this mortgage is maybe 180 and the other one's maybe 180, right? There's still enough in cash flow. I don't know if those numbers are right, so I can't remember.
Yeah, but it's still paying for itself, and you're gonna go buy something else, so it's the money.
No, my God, it was actually only 200,000. So I was thinking about this, because we actually put the 137 down, and I still have 7K in the bank just sitting there. Sorry, what were you saying?
So, even after you refied it and pulled the cash out, it's still paying for itself. The properties are still paying for itself, and you have cash to go reinvest in more property, so it's the money tree. It just keeps producing,
It's
right?
the tree of life.
It's a circle of life.
So I'm not saying, maybe this is impressive to you, maybe it's not, and I'm not doing this to brag, I'm just giving you real life examples, deals that I am currently doing or have done very recently.
What's the conversation you have with those tenants when you take over a building like that and you're like, oh, by the way, I'm gonna increase your rent?
I don't have what Rachel does, but yeah, we devised the
They just
plan, it's
try.
hard, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. I'll give you, in that fourplex, one of them was completely vacant, the carpet's clean, the lines were in it, it was like, damn. Day one after we closed, we had it rented at $10.50 a month
And what are the other
in
ones?
2 days, and they were like somewhere between $7 and $7.50 a month. There's 3-bedroom, 1-bath units. I'm like, dude, this is amazing. So yeah, we decided to have the conversation a little slower and work with people to get them up to $3 to $3.50 a month
Yeah,
over several months. One person's just like, I can't afford it. She like gave us notice, she'll move out in June 1st.
so you will try to work with them to slowly
Yeah.
increase the rent up to where
Yeah.
it should be. Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, usually it's not that drastic. It's not usually 300 to 350 a month. Usually it's like 100, 150. But in one person's like, well, yeah, we've been getting a great deal for a long time. We knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're welcome to go find somewhere else that has covered parking and extra parking and storage unit and a 3-bedroom, 1-bath apartment with air conditioning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is there a question? Like,
Are you using a property manager?
yeah, so my team does property management.
Are you guys better than Rise?
It's not better, just different.
I shouldn't say that while we're recording.
Yeah, I know the principles of Rise. I like them. Yeah, it's just whoever you vibe with. Yeah. You know, interview different people, understand the
I
philosophy.
feel like as real estate agents, I think you always end up at the same, you always feel like you're paying for something that you could really kind of do yourself, but again, it's like, what is your time worth?
That's right.
That's what's hard, but I mean,
Yeah.
somebody as busy as Cameron manages his own properties. And I know he has a lot of doors, and I'm like, if you can do it, why can't I just manage one?
It's pretty easy. I think it's easy.
Yeah, but Cameron's a single guy.
True, but, and he also has systems in place, he has partners, that it's like, anytime something goes wrong, his tenants call people, and like, his people know, okay, this is how much I can do without asking Cameron. And then, so it's like he has systems in place, so it's not like he's literally taking every call when something goes wrong.
What I've seen for people managing their own properties is they don't realize market value. This was an owner, manager that did all of his properties. He owned a number of properties. And I was like, the hell, why are you at 7 and 750? That makes no sense.
I
Like,
would times.
like I almost had to like triple guess myself. I was like, what am I not seeing here? Like this makes total sense.
A lot of landlords don't increase the rent regularly, and then they go 5-10 years. And
Dude, my father-in-law has
Yeah,
a
my
number of
grandmother.
properties
My
and I'm
grandmother,
like, this is 11th East and 12th South and you're renting this at $800 a month. I'm like,
Line up.
I'm like, you could hire a property manager, take back your time, and the extra would pay for itself, and you could take my family to Hawaii every year. Because I told him, and he's like, oh, that's why you still manage it. It doesn't matter, right? Like,
Right.
either way, you're right, but I'm telling you, $900 to $24,000 a year, and I got 2 of them. That's a lot more income, right? Dude, the number 1 goal is to make money, right? What's rule number 2? Not lose
See,
money.
rule number
Don't
one.
lose money.
Yeah, don't forget about rule number 1, right? And so this just supports lifestyle. It gives you the intention to be able to do Airbnbs if that's what you want, right? Or to work part-time or go off into retirement or whatever. But I'm telling you, like, we go back to the pyramid, you gotta think first. You think, then you can buy. If you buy, then you can own. If you own, then you can receive.
With the market being as good, are you, so I know it used to be really risky to do like more expensive flips, like where you're getting into the millions.
Yeah.
Are you seeing more of those?
That's just not my thing.
Okay.
I
There's just
try
been a
to s-
couple that have came across that I'm like, oh my gosh, I could get it for 5 or 6 and then sell it for $1 million, but I'm just.
I'm not to say I wouldn't do
Yeah.
it, but in the past, it's not worked out for me too well, and it's just one of those things, I just try to stay in my lane, right? It's like, I'm sure I could go out and master Airbnb, it's just not a big focus to me, and that's no knock on it, right? You guys can do it. It's just not really my focus, and I don't really want to spend that time. Now, if I maybe was a little bit older and I've got this basement apartment, I think that makes 100% perfect sense. Because you can kind of be on property, you could run downstairs when they screw up their key and they can't get in, or the water heater starts to leak, or something won't turn on, or there's a light bulb, you know what I mean? It's really easy. But when I've got I just can't.
Jen? There's a guy, Jeff, Trip Vacations, have you heard of him?
Yeah,
We talked to him.
yes, I have.
Yeah, he's like 28%, right?
Is it 28%?
I don't know. I don't know. There's another kid, I kid, he's probably in his 30s, maybe even his 40s. He's a child.
He's a man.
Anyway, he manages like 50 Airbnbs and is doing a great job. And so we're having some conversation with setup and stuff, and you can outsource as
Yeah.
much as you want. The numbers right now are really good, and there's not a ton of regulation currently in Utah, which is a big advantage. Places like Portland, Santa Cruz, you know, the regulation out there for short-term rentals is extreme. So we don't have that here.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So what's to stop the government from just looking on Airbnb or Vrbo and saying, oh, that's not in a zone that does nightly rentals as a hotel?
Well, Utah is a business-friendly state and a landlord-friendly state.
Yeah, but I live in Cottonwood Heights and I've been through homes where they have complaints and it says, oh, just say you're a friend of Ted. This is a nightly rental, however, you know, the law says it can only have rental for 30 days, right? Or less. So for me, I only will do clients into a zone that's actually regulated for nightly rentals.
Well, I think if you buy something and you have it as an Airbnb, like, just make sure it's gonna make sense long-term if you have to change. right?
Yeah, if the numbers
Right, yeah,
make
yeah.
sense as a long-term rental, great.
Yeah.
If the numbers only make sense to acquire because it's an Airbnb, I'd be cautious, because one complaint and you'd be screwed.
True, that's a good point.
So I think that's it.
Thank you.
Guys.
Very much. Thank you. My head hurts.
Yeah, mine too.
Good.
Good.